Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's C-O-M-B-E-S-T, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?
It's me, Egbert, once again. I'm the new owner of this station. I went out and hired the best talk radio consultant, Jeff Allen from News Talk STL, and told him to hire the worst talent he could find. Jeff did exactly as I told him. Ladies and gentlemen, here are Brad and John.
You know, it's great when you get the Jeff Allen seal of disapproval. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, but we don't need his approval or disapproval, Brad. We are, to quote Kesha, we are who we are.
We are who we are. Okay, two things. There's a big controversy, a local controversy, about an SIU Edwardsville professor. Do you know this story?
I don't know this story now.
Okay, and a lot of coverage in the news over the weekend. I've read it a couple different places. I think it was on the Post-Dispatch website. I believe the Channel 5 website as well, too. And the guy's a professor at SIUE, and he was at the Washington University protest when the police...
Oh, yeah, I know this story.
When the police came in and broke it up at the Washington University, okay? The Washington University, just Washington University. Now, it's come out that he claims he was somewhat manhandled by county police.
Oh, yes, poor guy.
And he's got 6 broken ribs and something else, broken ribs and I think a broken arm or something like that. And they claim he's going to have surgery for that. He claims he was an innocent bystander and he was just there to record the event. Now, there is a point where I can identify that with me. I have been at the several times. Matter of fact, one of my favorite stories was a friend of mine once called me. This is going back to the Michael Brown Ferguson thing. A friend of mine called me on like the day after, the Monday after the Sunday shooting. And a friend of mine calls me and I'm at the Michael Brown protests. And I'm at the Quick Trip, which is no longer there. With the Quick Trip, they burnt down the whole bit.
Yeah,
and a friend of mine calls me and says, "What are you doing on CNN?" And I said, "What do you mean, what am I doing on CNN?" And the quote was, "You're on CNN right now." And I was. And I didn't realize it because I was in the background of a CNN shot. Okay, I've been to the Stokely controversy. I've been to the 2016 presidential debates with Hillary and what's his name? Donald Trump. Couldn't remember what that was. Donald Trump at Washington University. Okay, as a quote unquote journalist, because of the fact I'm there, and I saw at all those events, I saw amazing stuff that went on behind the scenes that no news organization ever covered. That was the reason I was there. Okay, having said that, he claims he was an innocent bystander there to essentially take video. But if I'm not mistaken, and in all these videos, all these times the police came in, they have warned everybody ahead of time on a PA system. You are trespassing.
Yeah, you have 15 minutes to leave or 30 minutes to leave or whatever.
Okay, so wouldn't you think a right kind of thinking guy, a guy with a PhD would say, hey, maybe I need to vacate the premises, right? But
no, because if you get slammed by the police and break your ribs, you're a hero and you can get a ton of money.
Okay, so the controversy is the controversy is the fact that SIUE, once again my alma mater for my undergrad degree, is being criticized because they did not send out an email about this through the official channels. And the complainers say that if so-and-so, a student at SIUE, is seriously injured in a car accident, that the university would send out an email to all students, Joe Smo, one of your fellow students was injured in a car accident over the weekend, and everybody keep him in your thoughts that he makes a full recovery. Well, they didn't officially address this. Now, SIU comes out and says, hey, we didn't because, A, we don't acknowledge our professors who are at another educational institution involved in protests or something to that effect, and B, the fact that we're not going to comment on this politically because we don't really want to get involved in this. And essentially they're sort of saying, hey, look, you know what? The guy's on his own time. He wasn't
on his own time.
On his own time. He was not on our campus. If this would have happened on our campus, damn straight we would have said something about it, and we would have said, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't. So to me, it's like, okay, so the SIU people, not everybody, but the SIU community that's upset about this is upset because the university hasn't officially recognized that one of their professors got roughed up at a pro-Palestinian event. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. But if you're them and you're an activist, you're like, you want everything. I mean, he's a member of your team, somebody on your side in a fight. You want to get as much sympathy for him as you can. You want to show how barbaric the St. Louis police are. Like, you're rallying for your guy. You're probably a little bit jealous that he's getting all the attention and you're not. But at the same time, you're like, you want him to get as much attention as possible.
I guess.
And their whole goal, Brad, is across the country is to make administration is to make their lives as much of a hell as possible. Can you imagine what WashU graduation is going to be like? Can you imagine being on the team that's planning the commencement? You bring that broad in that was in American Pie, and she does some cute video about how she's going to be the commencement speaker, and you think you're going to coast? If you're at SLU, and I think, aren't they having John Hamm come in?
He's at one of them, yes, I believe.
Yeah, so I think he's at SLU. Can you imagine you have these celebrities come in, and you think it's going to be a cute little Hollywood moment, and then you're going to have a bunch of people disrupting what should be a really nice moment for family, for alumni, for everyone. I have a lot of sympathy for folks that are at SLU and that are at WashU right now.
Well, and once again, it could be a magical moment. When my daughter graduated from Washington University, guess who was the speaker?
I don't remember.
Tony La Russa.
Oh, nice. TLR.
Yes.
Yeah, that was back in the day when we used to win a lot of games.
Right. That
was an entirely different era.
Right. Win a lot of games and not ask for the public to pony up for
we're not going to get you started on that today, Brad. There was a piece over the weekend that folks can find at johncombest.com about stadium subsidies, Brad. And it quoted Jay Ashcroft. It quoted our boy Dave Stokes from the Show Me Institute. It's a banger.
What did Jay Ashcroft say?
He said that he wants to be featured in the Tortured Politicians Department this Wednesday.
No, but what did he say about the Cardinals thing?
That everything deserves a close look and scrutiny. And actually, he didn't comment. It was his campaign manager, a guy named Jason Rowe, who's from Michigan, who's his campaign manager.
Okay, once again, I say that if 1 penny of government as funds goes to the renovation of Busch Stadium, which is and say they're already just going, oh, the stadium's 20 years old. I'm going, okay, have you guys ever been to Fenway? You ever been to Wrigley? These stadiums.
Yeah.
Isn't Wrigley like 100 years old or some crazy thing like that?
More than 100, and so is Fenway.
I
think they're both over 100 years old.
And once again, it's not like the Cardinals after you go down and matter of fact, there was something, one of my friends posted that they went to a Cardinals game and 2 hot dogs and 2 sodas was $60. And I'm going like...
And they used a coupon. Right. They had a coupon. Brad, I got you off track. You were going to talk about Chicago teachers.
There is a thing. Now, okay, I'm going to say up front, I know I'm going to get pushback from union people, okay? There is the law of unintended consequences. And just like this new guy who's head of the UAW, and the union people love him, the UAW people love him because he got this huge increase for the UAW workers at the GM plant in Wentzville and all over the country, okay? The law of unintended consequences is that they are having much more money put in their pocket and better benefits and stuff like that. But the law of unintended consequences is that a Ford pickup truck, and keep in mind, when I first bought my very first Ford pickup truck in 1987, it cost me, take a guess what my first F-150 pickup truck cost me.
Did you buy it new?
Oh, yeah, brand new. Dave Sinclair, right off the lot.
I'm going to guess $16,000.
$8,999. $8,009, brand new pickup truck, 1987 F-150. Okay, if you were to go to any Ford dealer in town and try to find a pickup truck that has a sticker price at less than $40,000, you would be hard pressed to do that. Okay, the law of unintended consequences is great for the union workers, but guess what? The auto manufacturers don't eat that increased cost of them paying all the extra money and benefits to this stuff. It all trickles down to you and I. When we go buy a new car, and once again, pickup trucks now to the point where I think the average pickup truck price is like $50,000 or $60,000 now. Okay. My first house cost me $34,000. Okay. I'm thinking to myself, $34,000 was my house. Okay. Now, here's what the teachers union in Chicago wants. They're negotiating a new contract, and they're calling for an extra $50 billion, B with a B, to pay for wage hikes, as well as other demands such as fully paid abortions for its members, new migrant services and facilities, and a host of LGBTQ-related requirements and training in schools. $50 billion. $50 billion. Now,
that's a pretty good deal, it seems like.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind that as of the most recent survey, only 21% of the city's 8th graders were reading at 8th grade level. Okay? 21%.
So that's why teachers need to be paid more, Brad. They can do a better job if we give them more money. Isn't that the way it works?
Yes.
If you do a poor job, it just shows that you need more money.
Okay. And she wants... Every year, the lady, her name is Union President Stacey Davis Gates, she wants her members to get at least 9% wage increases every year through fiscal 2028, okay? And she said, right now, get this, the average salary of a teacher in Chicago public schools is currently $93,182. And this is according to the Illinois Policy Institute. And therefore, the average teacher's pay will increase by half to, and this would be in the 2027-2028 year, average teacher's pay $144,620. So let's just round it up to $145,000, okay? And the figure would equate to more than double the median household income in Chicago according to Census Bureau standards. In other words, and also the Chicago Tribune reports that CPS budget will exceed $9 billion this year, up nearly 30% from $7.4 billion 5 years ago. Much of that increase is reflected in teacher salaries, which are among the highest of any big city teachers in the country. Last year, the district spent more than $21,000 per student, far above the national average of $14,347. Okay. I hear these numbers and I just think to myself, God, do we live in a crazy, weird, upside down world? Let's say that we had a baseball team, let's say the Cardinals who can't even beat the White Sox, or I think the record is 6-28 or something like that. Okay, let's say, and see, here's the crazy thing. We talked about this last month where there was the article in the Post-Dispatch talks about they've had the lowest attendance of any weeknight game of this history of Busch Stadium number 3. And I said, John, what do you think the number was? And I think you said like 28,000 or 32.
I said I said it was like 19,000.
It was 39,000 people, okay?
Incredible.
In Miami, that would be a record. They would be like, oh my
God.
God.
In Arizona, in Phoenix, it would be a record.
Right. And so once again, the situation, I'm equating the Cardinals with the Chicago teachers. It's like, okay, if you give us a great product and you perform great, then we're going to give you the money. If not, we're not going to give you the money. And once again, in most markets, the fans of the team essentially vote with their dollars. If the team sucks, they don't go to the games. They don't buy because they don't go to the games. They don't buy the $40 popcorn or the $55 sugar fire, sandwich or whatever the heck it is down there. Okay, if only 21% of the students in Chicago schools are reading at grade level, and keep in mind the graduation rate of high school kids in Chicago is, I believe, well below 50%. Why would you reward the teachers with more money? Can you answer that for me, John?
Yes, because if you pay them more money, you're gonna attract better talent. And also, secondly, Brad, we know, if there's one thing we know about Illinois by looking at state government over the last 20 to 30 years, it's that money is not real. So why don't we just pay them $200,000? Well, just go into a huge deficit and pay them $200,000. And somebody will pick up that tab somewhere down the line. It's not our problem.
Now, here's another quote in the article. While the figure might seem far-fetched, the union holds tremendous sway in city politics with its deep roots, deep ties to Mayor Brandon Johnson. Johnson is a former CTU legislative consultant who was put forward by the union to run for mayor. As of June 20th, 2023, CTU, that's Chicago's teachers union, has funneled more than $2.6 million into Johnson's campaign, while he received more than $6 million from teachers unions altogether, according to the Illinois Policy Institute. Okay, so I think what you just said was somewhat facetious because of the fact that if you have a failing system, why do you want to pay people more?
Yeah, I see. Well, I mean, I think you just read the answer, which is that he used to work for the teachers group and then the teachers got him elected. It would be like if you ran the plywood industry in St. Louis City and then you elected a mayor who said, we're going to do nothing but focus on fixing derelict storefronts. And then, suddenly every storefront has plywood up and somebody has to pay for that plywood.
Well, interesting you should say that because this is Brad's weird brain. You know what hit me? Because of the fact that when I saw the couple of the videos over the weekend of the LA police taking down the encampment at UCLA, they had panel after panel after panel of 4x8 sheets of plywood. Okay, John, have you been to Home Depot or Lowe's or your local hardware store lately and priced a 4x8 sheet of plywood?
I have not.
For a while during the pandemic, they were close to $100 a sheet. I think right now a good, what they call 3/4 inch CDX plywood, exterior plywood would probably be in the $60 to $70 range. Okay, where did all that plywood come from? And it's all brand new sheets of plywood. I mean, did they steal it from somebody? Who bought that plywood? I mean, we're talking.
That's a great question, Brad.
I mean, once again, it's like the tents. Why is it that all, like one of the universities, I think it was like in Emory University in Atlanta, all the tents were exactly duplicates of each other, not only the same style, same color. So how did that happen? I mean,
because if you're a humanitarian group, Brad, part of your mission is to help these poor children who just want to hang out on a campus and protest against Israel. And as a humanitarian, you would be wrong to not. By the way, Brad, last week we talked about ETFs, remember?
Right.
Now, I've been in wood for a while, which is the timber and forestry ETF, and the ticker symbol is wood.
Right.
In the last year, Brad, the shares are up 15.79%, Brad. What do you think your local strip mall investment advisor, who's got a 60-40 bonds to stock ratio that he gets from the central office, you think he's up 15.79%? The timber industry ETF is, Brad. That's ticker symbol wood, WOOD. This is not financial advice. I do own wood. I do own ticker symbol WOOD.
There's a comment I can make, but I won't.
Yeah, hey. Brad, we're not that kind of show, Brad. You know what we will do, though? I will make a wacky video of this conversation in a few months, and then I'll post it, and you'll be like, when did we ever talk about wood or Israel protests? John, can you tell me when we talk about this? I just don't get it.
It didn't make any sense to me, John. I mean,
I understand, but you know who loves it, Brad? According to the numbers. Yeah. Jay-Z said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. According to numbers, it's our most popular video.
John, and I hope you didn't take it as I was insulting you. It just, at the time when I saw the video, I think what caught my attention was, I'm a numbers guy. I'm looking at all the analyticals, and I looked at this last night, and I go like, okay, why the hell is this video up at the top in our analytical, our analytical page on YouTube? And I go, oh my God, It's got 190.
Hey, I sent it to you Saturday as soon as I posted it. Remember?
I know I saw it, but when I saw it up on the bjshow.video channel, that's what it is now, bjshow.video. It's still bjshow.co, but it's bjshow.video. When I saw it up there, I thought to myself, what the hell is that? I'm going like, it didn't make. John, you got to.
If there's one lesson that's going to make people mad that are listening, I think it's that we know that Sophie Shore equals ratings.
John, you have to understand, I spent my weekend Saturday until about 11 o'clock at night fixing a transmitter, going through a transmitter and soldering MOSFETs and capacitors and diodes and stuff like that, and literally changing out like 20 components in a very crowded PA cabinet. And my mind, and then yesterday what did I do? I worked at the crap transmitter site. We had some problems there to get crap back online and the whole bit. So my mind was a little bit, shall we say, foggy,
You don't have to explain it to me, Brad. I appreciate what you do, and you know that I'm giving you a hard time. When really you spent the weekend trying to catch up on the Drake beef with Kendrick Lamar. I know what you were really doing while you were fixing the transmitter, but that's a different topic.
Actually, I was down at the lake enjoying, laying on the dock.
You were in Margaritaville.
Right, that's where I was. And I think...
Hey, good luck today, Brad. You know what? Again, if you need me to bail you out of jail today, just text me, okay?
John, once again, if you could see me right now, people always think that it always cracks me up. You see pictures of radio stations and, like, hey, like the TV station, we'll go to 97.1 and see what they're talking about. And everybody in the room's wearing like wife beaters and baseball hats backwards and cutoffs and flip-flops. I'm doing the show this morning in my full suit with my suspenders and my power tie, and I even had my suit jacket on right now. So for those of you thinking that us radio guys are just a bunch of underdressed schlubs, not true. I look pretty damn good this morning. That's all I say. He
does, and he had to trade it all, and you got that entire suit just for the price of one eyeball, Brad. You just traded in one marble eyeball, and you got that suit.
$99 at K&G and NOCO. That's where it came from. Okay, say goodbye, John.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?